All set. Hey, Tommy.
And hello, Wayne, and a happy Halloween.
Is it
to
all?
you.
Is it all Hallows Eve?
Close to
Almost,
it.
yeah.
Close to, but it's our Halloween show, right? Right, you say.
Oh, bloody hell!
But anyways,
Before we get into I got a little rant here. Just driving over here on the thruway. I wonder if anybody else noticed this. I call it, you've heard of cat scratch fever. Mm-hmm. Ted Nugent. Mm-hmm. I call it right lane fever. Mm-hmm. What this means is you drive in the right lane at a good brisk 65, 60, mm-hmm. whatever, and as you approach about a mile away from an exit, brake lights hit. Mm-hmm. And I start singing, right line fever, da-na-na-na, and I'm down to about 35. Because everybody thinks when you exit off a thruway, you've got to slam them on, and before you can actually veer off. And then when other people are trying to get on, there's not a thing that people call merging. They just stop, and then people go in. The roads are ridiculous. So.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because where has yield gone in today's society?
Well, nobody yields, and it's so easy to merge. I'm sorry, I think it's one of the easiest things in the world.
If you want to have a whole heck of a lot of laughs,
yes,
they put two roundabouts in up here at Harlem and
just sit there and watch.
Harlem and Cleveland, and
Harlem
then
and
just
Worley.
down at Harlem and Worley.
I love them.
Slamming on horns, confusion.
I did not grow up in England. Let's just throw that out there. And I can do a roundabout almost blindfolded. And people come into these things going like, well, what do I do? What do I do? They end up in the middle. They're hitting like, monuments.
There was nothing worse than the Cleveland-Harlem. You could never make a left off of Cleveland on the Harlem.
That's
Forget
right.
it.
That's right.
There was more accidents and stuff. Now it's a roundabout and driving. But it's tough to have driving skills when you're on the damn phone.
Yeah.
And putting makeup on and lipstick on. That's for the female listeners.
Hello?
I've seen it happening. And the guys are always in a hurry.
Hold on, I like that. Hold on. Oh, I was just killed somebody.
Right. So anyways,
sorry about little driving,
But really, for shits and giggles, hit the Harlem Cleveland roundabout and you wet yourself. Anyways, first off, on a sad note, in our old neighborhood there in Applewood, we lost one of the dads, Jerome Wallowit, passed at 92. And the guy I always remember, he wasn't a big pro sports fan, but loved the amateur sports. He was a very nice man to begin with.
Right. Very religious.
Very religious. Would nothing better than to watch the Little League games or any high school sport. Mm-hmm. And was athletic. He would ride his bike and stuff. And if we were having a game on the street or something, he'd stop and watch. And one thing I also took from Mr. Wallach was he was so proud of his sons, mm-hmm. Johnny, Ed, Ronnie, and Rudy. He was always so proud of them, and we lost them, and it's another loss. And thoughts and prayers to the family.
And what happens is one by one, right? Or you start losing the people, and we're at that age. Our sons, though, and daughters don't, they really don't respect us. They don't watch our show.
One thing I did learn growing up, though, you do learn, everybody, from your elders. I'm not throwing it out there to my kids that are listening, but I learned a lot from your dad, Mr. Shelfie, Mr. Miller, Mr. DeFedericus, Mr. Walt. You learn how they handled things. And one thing I can take from most of them, and forgive me if I'm forgetting somebody,
Thanks a lot.
They were fathers first and friends second.
Yeah. And
that's really important today. Everybody wants to be friends with their kids. Be their parent, be their leader, and the rest will go from there.
Okay, now you get off your pulpit and let's talk a little.
And one thing I wanted to say, before we get into the Bills game and stuff, we had kudos first off to our phenomenal military, taking out Angwan
Tao.
And our president came out and said he died like a coward. And of course, the Washington Post, whatever cat litter it is, came out and said he did not die as a coward. He suicided himself because he wouldn't want to be captured. He's a coward.
Yeah, he's a sniveling.
He beheaded a journalist, that girl from here. In fact, it was named after her, the Ray Carolyn, I think.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, forgive me. And he brutally raped her and bragged about it. And he's rotting in hell now. And they also took out the number 2 in control. And as far as that little prison camp they got out there in Syria, be a shame if something stupid happened there, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. What if one just got misplaced and just boom?
I thought you had the keys to those 2 gas trucks. You shouldn't smoke around them. Oh my God. Anyways.
Yeah.
And a special shout out to my Buffalo Bills fans, my Buffalo Bills Mafia. for giving a message out there to that Lloyd's of London crap. Tacos be damned.
Yeah.
That's a shithole. All right?
It was funny. I was working there, and I kept looking over at the taco truck. 11:30, 12 o'clock, 12:15. So people are flooding in. Empty.
Did you ever notice the eerie silence around that truck anyway? You never see a
Well,
cat.
every
cricket.
once in a while you'll hear a cat, and then all of a sudden it's gone.
And the man came out apologizing for the apology and said all he really wants to do is make a good taco for the people of Buffalo. Well, guess what? Take it to Tijuana. Take it
already
to
blew
somebody
it.
that cares.
You already
Deep
blew
South
it.
Taco, if you need a taco. Mighty Deep South blows them out of the water. I had to get that out of the way. Kudos all you fans out there. Hey, speak quietly, but carry a pretty
A
cool
big
looking
stick.
stick.
Is this Woodrow Wilson? Who is this?
I don't know who it is, but it was from the
Pan
American Games.
Who got shot there?
McKinley.
This is McKinley. That's why we got this is from the Pan American Games. This is a very, very expensive asset that Tommy owns here.
Well, it's my wife's, and I'm using it today
Oh, wait a
as
minute
part
though.
of the game.
Community States, it's yours. too.
What's hers is hers, and what's mine is hers. I've gotten
Right,
used to that.
right.
All you married men out there, the sooner you
You
get used
get
to
it.
that, the better it is. One thing, if I could see Mr.
Sure.
McKinley for a
What-
second, one thing
take
he
it.
used to say, and I'm going to use it in my Bills language.
Yeah.
Ask not what your D can do for you, but ask what your offense can do for your D.
Oh,
Wayne
boy.
McKinley.
He actually just moved. Anyway, yeah, we didn't have much luck last week. And one thing about Josh, you gotta love. I just heard him on the way over here, and he's like, "Look," he said, "I'm not playing well." He completely takes it on his shoulders. I'll give him credit for that. And I don't think that's exactly what happened last week. Was he great? No. Was he awful? No. He was average, but we didn't get any running game going. When we did, we went away from it. And I thought he actually threw worse with the wind. I don't know what was going on.
Well, everybody's disappointed that the Bills didn't make trade. Yesterday was the trade deadline. You know what? I'm not giving up draft picks and stuff. We don't know what the deals were out there, and I'm sure if there was a deal, Bean would make it. But the group we have now, we can live with this group. But here's the problem, and what's been kind of unveiled the last couple of weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, John Murphy today stated that Washington, they're 1-7. Mm-hmm. Chris Brown came on and was saying that his team look out for it. They've done this and that, and I agreed with Chris Brown. And Murphy said, they're 1-7. An undefeated Miami team, a winless Miami team came in here 2 weeks ago.
And almost had us.
So, John, and the other thing a caller brought up was that Josh Allen didn't use Duke Williams. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't use Duke Williams. And Murphy pointed out he was involved in 66 of the snaps. That doesn't mean the ball went his way, John.
Yeah.
He's a divot, and they really should look into just keeping him on Sundays if they could replace that too.
Just get rid of him.
Anyways.
I'm glad it's on the radio because anything over 6 chins I can't watch.
Right. Anyways, what's happened with the Bills and today's game, I feel, is that the bulky guys are gone.
Yeah.
And it's a pass-orientated league, so you build your D around pass rushers and linebackers that can
that are 210.
defend the pass. So what
Yeah.
you have now is a 6'2 linebacker at about 225.
Yeah.
Okay? Tremaine Edmonds is a little heavier, but he's also taller. Lorenzo's a bigger guy, but a little older. Teams have found that they, especially with Harrison Phillips gone, teams can run on us.
Yeah.
And take our penetrating guys and kind of let them go with the flow. You've heard a couple comments about Star Latulier and going this or what. I think what's happening there is, and he hasn't had a great year for us, but what's happened, I think these, and by the way, the Philly line, those guys aren't no slouches, but they're letting like a guy like Oliver and to Latulier, they're using the momentum against them.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're
They're
cutting
not
back in the lane.
right. And
And when you go to that big nickel, they call it, and they bring in the 205-pound safety.
right.
Because they figure that Zoe can't keep up with 2 tight ends.
Right. You're
which
smaller.
is true. You're smaller. You're a lot smaller.
So the key is, right, we've gotten smaller. Yes, the Bills will draft and get some linebackers, but those big linebackers aren't there anymore, okay?
No.
The key in today's football, not like our dad's football, is we got to get some scoring in there. We have to have the offense move the chains, stay on the field, score some points,
Yeah.
and make those teams play our game. If we're up 7-3 or 10-3 or whatever,
Yep.
you want to run the ball, go ahead and run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to do things, and that also helps your line. When you're stuck in that running game, it doesn't help your line. When the passing game's going, when we were winning those games, the Giants, the Jets, oh, look at our line, they're playing great. Well, it's also part of how the game's going to help your lineman.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get on the play calling or anything, but I do question when you run for 14 yards in 2 plays and then empty your backfield. I don't get it. I don't care about the pass.
Yeah.
But why the empty backfield?
Why the empty backfield?
And-
No, meaning you show no sign of running.
Right. I mean, play off of that, right? And other than that, execution. But get the lead. The offense has to jump out and keep the defense off the field.
Yeah.
And get some points down there. It was a tough day weather-wise. Both teams had it.
Right. A couple things. I agree. We would have probably passed all over that team. They're abysmal in the secondary. Of course, what happens? Typhoons. So we can't really do that well. And then secondly, and everybody said this. This is no great shakes, but that fumble by Josh killed us.
It's a momentum thing.
That was
big.
I mean, we were going to go into that halftime winning, or maybe even up more than the 7-3, and instead we're down 11-8, and it was just a momentum thing.
Well, for anybody that's never been out to the New Era Stadium too, when they're talking about winds, maybe you're thinking it's just coming down one way.
No.
Those winds swirling there. A majority of it, I think, was going in the one direction. I wasn't there, not sure.
Yeah, it usually comes over the scoreboard through the tunnel. But then when it gets in the bowl, things just going everywhere. They had garbage bags flying here, there, everywhere.
I got hit with a wrapper a couple years ago. It hurts.
Yeah, we had to take you in. Remember that was St. Joe's?
I think that's one of the reasons. Well, we won't get into the CT. That's another show. But that stays on the show anyways. But no, those howling winds and that down there, it's tough. Both teams played in it.
They did.
But the Bills have to fix that now. And the best way to fix it is score some points of your own and make those teams play your game. Don't play theirs.
Yeah,
Philly needed that game. They have a good team. They're just off a Super Bowl.
Yeah, they're a really good team, and they were desperate, but they only threw 20 times, completing 15, unfortunately. But they only threw 20 times because they just ripped through us, like a hot knife through butter.
And
you
also,
can't have it.
some of their passing were just screen passes where they got those big guards and tight ends out in front, knocking our little guys around.
It literally looked like there were times where they threw it. There were 2 guards out there, not a blue shirt to be found.
Right.
We were completely baffled on like 2 or 3 of them.
Well, this team isn't completely solid yet and complete, and everybody knows that. And,
Right.
Losing Harrison Phillips was a big loss.
That was a big loss.
And
That's why I thought they'd go yesterday and try to pick up a DT, but
and they might have.
they might have. No, in fact, I'm almost certain he was on the phone. I have spies down there, but somebody probably wanted, like a number 1 next year. And we're not giving it up.
And get the big time receiver, say an AJ Green if he's available. Well, they're breaking in a rookie quarterback down there, and I'm sure they want a good receiver to throw to.
Plus, he's always hurt, and he's done at the end of the year. He's a free agent.
Look what this team does in the draft. We're a good team right now. We're cruising along. I still see 10 wins.
Yep.
And
you heard it here first. On Straight from the Hip, I said not between 9 and 11 wins.
And I think I agree with you.
No, I think you said 5.
I would. But anyways, this team is still cruising. They're learning. We have a quarterback that's learning. There's a lot of good things to come. But do something to help your D get a lead and make their guy have to do some things he doesn't want to do.
Yeah, there's no question.
The other thing, too, real quick, some of these ridiculous penalties. 2 penalties, illegal procedure before the ball's even. That's got to stop.
Holding. Number 85, offense. Still first down. Lee Evans. Will you please stop?
Smith.
Lee Smith.
You're right.
He was a receiver.
But
Lee Smith, and then false start. Number 85, offense. I'm like, those are the
ones that really get me too, because those are before the snap.
I know.
And you can't do that.
Can't do it.
And
the hold wiped out like a 15-yard gain by Singletary. It's ridiculous.
We actually came back on that drive and scored over.
We did anyway.
But in the long term, it really does come back to hurt you.
Yeah.
Another shout out. We went to the hockey game. Wayne and I with some high school buddies, David Giglia, Martin Katowski, and Eddie Katowski. Phenomenal time.
And Infinite Prague class of 1972-1975, and Bishop Newman class of 76 and 79. Those are the classes with the brothers and everything, and oh my God, it was so much fun to get back together, tell some of the war stories, and what a great time. So
you lost me in the class. 72 is when we graduated.
Yeah,
right?
And 75 was when they got an IOP.
They were that far behind us?
Yeah, 3 years. I thought it was 2, but then the other day they told me they were just becoming 58, so.
We were robbing the cradle in high school.
Then 76 for us in Newman, 79.
Of course, we weren't doing anything.
They shot it down in 79, actually imploded the building to put
Now it's a bank.
Put a ice
Now
cream
it's a
station.
healthcare, whatever the hell it is. But anyways, phenomenal time with the guys. Sat there firsthand, watched the Sabre Arizona game. It was an enjoyable game. Saw our flaws, but you know what? The team's playing well.
Yep.
I think Botterill knows there's some weaknesses. My only complaint, it's a tie game that we don't really deserve. Arizona outplayed us.
Oh my God!
Why not
Especially
see a
the
little
third.
more Jack and Sam down the stretch instead of
Oh,
that
he didn't shorten the
checking line?
bench. I had to see. And
yeah.
you know, they go on and on and on about this checking line and the Corsi and this and Vlad Saboka's Corsi. They can't score.
No, it's all Pravda, and I get it. It's an 82 game season and such, but I really would have rather seen a little more of a push with our guys out there. And if that, I say this again, if that fourth line could score,
We'd be happy. And we don't mean score like Jack. Just get one off your butt every
Right.
once in a while.
Right.
But I will say this. You know, he did play for the win in overtime.
Yes,
Three
he did.
forwards. We never saw the slobs. They were all three forwards sometimes.
hit the post 20 seconds in, hit it again a little
Hit it
later.
again.
We definitely
Olsen.
went for it. It was an enjoyable game. They're fun to watch, as are the Bills. One thing though, if anybody from the Sabres is listening in the 35 that are, the DJ Milk, I'm not on the kid personally or young man, whatever, but it's just mind-blowing with that stuff.
And we were in the 8th row, and I can tell you, my seats are in the 26th row. In the 8th row, you could actually verbalize a little bit. In the 26th row, you can't hear yourself think.
No,
where the
it's-
speakers are.
I was actually coughing a bit because you had to talk loud. Like I was sitting next to Eddie and you, like David, I had to scream.
Oh, he's coming in.
And it's just too loud. And anyways,
Yeah, so that's kind of wrapping up the thing here, and we
Right.
got a couple minutes left. Anything else you want to talk about? All Hallows Eve.
no, on All Hallows Eve, no.
No, what's going on?
I see some studio guests arriving for the second filming.
Yeah.
No, just
Bottle cap went off again.
proud of the military for what they've done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody opening a beer.
Yeah. I got one over here.
I want to again wish everybody a happy and
Prosperous.
healthy Halloween.
You want a prosperous Halloween? What,
Right. I
a
don't
take
know.
of candy?
And
What?
of course, I do check all my kids' candy.
Your kid? Wait a minute. Your youngest is like 100. So what?
They
What are
still
you
like their
doing?
candy, and I don't want a bad Kit Kat or stickers falling in the hands of my children.
Okay. Well. All right. So your 20-some-year-olds are going out and doing that, huh?
Just remember, well, they do, and it helps the cookie jar situation here too. But just remember,
Yes.
you keep bending over, you're gonna have a hard time straightening up.
You know that towelhead, the Jihad. He had a real hard time straightening up, didn't he?
Think he got a heck
So
of
he
a
pulled-
surprise?
Well, he was down in the tunnels with the rats until they got close, and then he pulled the vest.
Do you think he
They
got?
said they had to do the DNA right at his head. That's all that was left.
You think he got a heck of a surprise when he crossed over there and there was no little alley oxen freeze? Like
Yeah,
waiting for him?
he thought there was going to be like 13, maids of waiting. What he got was fiery hell.
By the way, too, God bless our military, but this ISIS has rampaged a lot of countries, and our boys took them out.
Now what else? What else is new?
And girls,
Yeah.
guys and gals.
Yeah, that's right. Now it's girls. We forgot.
And by the way, get off your damn knee when the Pledge of Allegiance and the national anthem goes. That's what you're standing behind that
I'll
stuff.
do anything I want. This is the land of the free, home of the brave. I'll
Just stand
kneel,
up when you
Steve.
do
No,
Show some
I'm kidding.
respect.
I'm kidding.
I think it was, who was it? Said it, Aretha Franklin or
R-E-S-P.
might have been what's the one with the sang the national anthem at Tampa Super Bowl? She sang R-E-S-P.
The one that was dead in the bathtub.
Right, R-E-S-P. Somebody sang that song. That was a heck of a song.
It was, right.
Playoff bound in national TV.
And
Remember
then
that?
that's, yeah. Well,
Whitney Houston.
Whitney
Whitney
Houston.
Houston, thanks.
Thanks for the next
JJ.
taping. We got one.
Whitney Houston. Actually, I think it was Aretha Franklin.
It was. Yeah, she
But,
big girl. Big girl. She's dead too.
God bless them.
So I want to end it with.
Hey, better than that racist Kate Smith with all that Philadelphia stuff.
I
too.
know. Can you believe it? And for me, I just want to end it with right lane fever. Da da
I
da
just want
da.
to say too, with the hanging, the lynch mob stuff.
Yes.
Why is it all of a sudden a minority thing? My ancestors were hung in. We did our family tree. We had 3 of them hung in Ireland. Horse thieves they were.
You were hung.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. It was I don't know how we looked up the family.
We looked it up. The
which
tree.
was
Well, get it, family tree, and they were
right, and which was they literally took it to their full extent.
right to the extent.
Our family tree information was all taken when my brother's van got stolen. Somewhere there's a group
And
of people on the west side going, let's read that again,
Hey,
Mom.
man, this is good stuff. These Moans, these Irish
Where are those
bastards.
little kids with the yellow tinted glasses? Anyways, everybody.
Yeah,
we'll
have
see
a
you
good
next
one.
week. Have a
Till
great
next
one.
week. We missed last week. I'll be texting out the friends to give you another link to this because either you're too busy on a wintry night or you just hate us.
And I say, and William here, we both say, Bills 34, Redskins 14.
I'm gonna go Bills 24, Redskins 13. Goodbye. I got it worked.